nga 주기 직진나 끼와다 가와다 나와다 되니게 dunga 봐도 매번 중요한 차상 유단 끼는데 뛰는 중요하래서 제가 되니게 유단 끼는데 봐 진의 심주체도 자와대 가려서 다세 말이 봐야 되리스 제가 디 다세 말이 봐디 봐야려야 아는 한 주기 동유도 비셔라 검체 방법 그래서 제가 되니 장한 주인의 강화 두둑기 안에 제가 다세 말이 봐디 차상 코알 좋아라 다세 말이 방고 그래 디 방발라 동이 또 후거래 동이 또 발라 땡지기 남샤 삼다시 또 후거래 땡자당 저기 군월이야 심지어 탐지기도 상요고방 도마치 인생비게네 삼로 군월 자주 삼다 된들량 저기 니체 탐제 간치래 아도 동아디 간치 중도 간치 용수지 땡지기 아주 나 세야디 간치도 세칭도 땡지기 삼다야디 어두스제는 저기 야네야로 삼다야디 계신부레신
And good evening on this rather warm evening. So last weekend we started the presentation looking at our presentation. We started looking at the presentation on dependent arising. We spoke about how all the suffering that we experience, this arises in dependence on causes and conditions. The suffering is not self-existent or inherently existent. So all the suffering that is experienced in the world, whether it's the suffering of birth or aging or sickness or death or any of the myriad types of suffering that we referred to last week, these all come about in dependence on causes and conditions. And these causes and conditions, they can be looked at many levels. Causes which they themselves come from other causes. If we trace back these various layers of causes, we come to a root cause, and that is the ignorance of self-grasping. And once one has identified the root cause of all suffering, then it becomes clear that is what we need to abandon. Because if that root cause is abandoned, suffering will no longer be experienced. If the cause is eliminated, no result can come about independent on that eliminated cause. And the way then to abandon that cause is to develop the mind that is contrary to this ignorance of self-grasping, and that is a mind that is the wisdom realizing emptiness. And the way to realize emptiness is through realizing dependent arising. So we need to then investigate our suffering and see, does it come about in dependence on causes like we've heard, or is it self-existent or inherently existent? We investigate, seeing that it comes from causes, investigate further, see what those causes are. And likewise, we can investigate the self. How does the self appear to our mind? Does it exist in this way? And the way we investigate is through using our understanding of dependent arising, seeing how phenomena appear is not how they actually exist.
Da diri nganzo dinma shue di da nganzo gi sangyu chumnen digi tenjigi namsha sonchebi tenjigi samdana de la da jige bene samdana kolya ane jige sheragi namchue da deni rikbigi nyuba chebu meding digi la an tenjigi samdana ganesh yongri pando ganesh yongore se da ane jige denigi pe jige samdana rikbada deni namchue keba tenjuba na shin ro shin na ane konzo gi tenjigi thone gimsen samdana ganesh dangore se ane de gore ma shuere.
So that was what we looked at last weekend. Then tonight we're going to start with a verse where we'll, of course, be discussing the presentation of dependent arising that Buddha Shakyamuni realized and then taught. And we'll look at it, what benefits this presentation of dependent arising has for those of less intelligence, those who are intellectually challenged, let's say. And then we also look at the benefits that this presentation has for those who are wise. So within the context of the perspective of the author of the text, those who are considered the wise ones, those who are considered wise, are those who hold the highest philosophical view in Buddhism, that of the prasangika. So they're the wise. The intellectually challenged are not them. So that's what we're going to look at tonight.
That's it. Gando Sungye Jiba Nam, Tarzin Chingwa Denjeba, Dini Kela, Jebai, and Dao Malu Jubu Go.
In the 6th verse, by grasping at dependence arising, the immature strengthen the shackles of extreme views. The same for the wise is the very means to sever completely the net of fabrications.
내 집안 남기 탈진 칭화의 땜바치기리 해야지. 지산 집안 남기 칭화의 탈진 땜바치고 그래. 그래서는 강도 중에서 댄지게 삼다네. 안 댄지게 삼다도 집에디게라 안 탈진에 따와디 땜부시고 그래지래.
탈진기 따와.
탈진에 따와. 탈진에 때 라시기 주바진데 지마시고.
디 암속 삼을고마서
다도 송외에서 강도 송외에서 김진시오래 네가 소세 댄디게 남샤 삼다 댄디디기 안에 삼다에도 집어디게라 탈진요 칭와서도 다시 마리바 아니 댄신디 댄버치고래 세대
지간 담보다니
지가 담보니 념시고.
So looking at the first two lines, by grasping at dependence arising, the immature strengthen the shackles of extreme views. So the immature, so that refers to those who are intellectually immature or spiritually immature, who are not developed. That will contrast to the people referred to in the 3rd and the 4th line. So those who are immature, when they think about dependence arising, they do so in a mistaken way, which leads to the shackles or the fetters that bind them to samsara, or that bind them to extreme views rather, being strengthened or being tightened. So that's the first two lines.
고 삼나야 자치무시라 신고 말하고 지상 그런 중에 에서 제모르마다 셰 벤모바나 가르치고 디제나 가르 내가 디제나 가르 약원사 디제나 가르 판도시 디제 네바 가르용사 디제는 판 교행 가르도 섬 디니게 남주게 삼로디 부절에 요 말에 매바데 지바래 지바세 대수 삼로디 요 말와 아 디니게 아직 미천부 롭종 야고 제제 벤에 롭종 제제 롭종 야고 신경에 캐봐 캐바 그냥 지든 캐바디 다 대속이 다 밀리아 계시 되네시네 판도 체요를 내가 되네시네 야가 용거래 되네시네 강아세도 되네시네 둥아세도 그래 되네시네 판도 줍투 그래서 비게 남주 안에 지게 변주를 줍타래 가르치나 되네게 남주 배주 시고 땅 두고라 제가 부충중 당 집에 대다 안에 미체부 롭종 야고 차되게 니니라 캐바라 가려서 베니 삼노 땅탕을 터네 배 캐버 열와 미인바직 바래 되네 이네 삼노 땅탕을 터네 배 캐버 신부열와 베로시다 뭐 베로시디나.
So the verse here in the first half of the verse refers to the immature, the second half to the wise. So the contrast is being made here, firstly the immature, so the term is one that relates to young children. So when you think of young children, they don't do much in the way of planning for their future or think about how they're going to look after themselves in their old age and their retirement. They're young kids. They just like to play and are happy when they're given sweets, and that's their entire world. So these are the immature. The wise, on the other hand, in this comparison, are those who have education, they've grown up, they're educated in this world, and they are able to use their intelligence to think about what they want to achieve, how they can achieve it, how they can live a good life and a beneficial life, and how they can be financially secure, etc. So those who are more mature, more educated, they are able to think in a far more expansive way. So these two classes of people are the same in terms of being humans, But one class is immature, whereas the other is wiser, more educated.
그래서 내게 도시 팔람 도시 팔람지 라와이나 부디 가서네 제모제 그거로 먹어는 봐 유샤기로 하고 제모제 그걸 가서는 디 먹어반에 배시 침보다야디 그 하고 두고 말와 이거 배시 쉬우다 예대로 와도 도시 팔람 지게바데 디 파디 종 제디기 토난 현라 라선이가라 판도시에기 시부 뉴버예 되게 배시 다 예대 버레데 부그디 샤라니스 하모와자 걸 제모제 야고 제모제 되네 간점제가 갈래하는 자식으로 와 다 미케와르 지나 디베 삽섭 다고 슈갑제 되네고 지기 베디 가르제거나 종제 랑나 현이가 판도 주게 해봐 두고야 차상 두고라 두 배셔 다시 어디 배로시대디.
We could also think of it, for example, if a child maybe rummaging through their parents' belongings came across a large diamond. So the child would think, oh, this is very pretty, and happily play with it, and probably lose it. And this is because they just are distracted by the beauty of the object, but are unaware of its value, the potential that can be achieved through this. Whereas a wise person, an adult, if they were to perhaps inherit a quantity of diamonds, they would value this. They certainly wouldn't play with them and throw them around. They would be aware of their value and how these could be used in a way that is beneficial. So these two different types of beings would relate to the same situation in very different ways.
tenjuba nashin pemasegi beshu kasar tentige namsha hu singje digi de sammo tombani lia jebaje tombani toyage namje de konzo yomares me bazo konzo jibares 제상 konzo기다 상유 점낸 digi tentige namsha sheshabe tele tene konzo tente kelin 거로 와 상유 송제 tente kelin 거라 제상 konzo기 tentige sam당하도 다 땡땡진 저중 지난 규단 제보디 규지를 땡내 중국어레스 땡내 중앙장 라신 줍되어레스 어디는 거기 땡제디 규단 제보디 규단 땡라 땡내 주바인장 땡내 주고로 땡내 주바다 라신 줍여레스 저 라신마 라신 줍네 땡야요 말 진짜 땡내 중앙장 라신 줍여레스는 거기 땡내 중에 김진이 진에 라신 여버 주고래 주요도 안에 라시 주바 짐베 삼로디 탈센과 쮸데 라시 주바 짐베 짐바데 탈다로 제자디 탈데 칭와디 디 템부샤로 버레세 템네 슈 뉴버 슈체로 버레세 템 주고레스 가스는 템제레 인자 규 제보 규단 깰레 뛰네 중국도 같이 뛰네 주바자 뛰여자 다 템제레 인자 고 라시 주드 라시 주바 차고레스 제자 라시 뭐든 떼야요 말레스 건조기 땡데 산여 점난 되기 땡제 송샤베기 되기 니 건조기 땡지게 삼당 윤선 제제 안에 라신이 주바 짐베 삼로디 슉체르단 거래 제데 땡바지 거래 제데 제자 탈진 친와 땡바지 제데 디스고라 대치 니베르 와다
So now the context or just to check, is the sound okay to the microphone? Not too loud? Clear? Okay. So in the context of looking at the presentation on dependent arising, the immature doesn't refer to those of tremendous youth, those of a young age. Rather, it refers to those who from the point of view of the prasangika, the highest of the philosophical schools, are you could say spiritually immature. In that, so here it then would refer specifically to the other Buddhist philosophical schools, those of the Vaibhashika, the Sautrantika, the Chittamatrans, and the Svatrantikas. In other words, all Buddhist view holders, other than themselves, other than the Prasangika, the Prasangika consider them to be immature. So why is that? Why do they think that they are the mature ones and others are immature? And this is because they are not utilizing their intelligence in a skillful way. So despite whatever degree of intelligence each individual may have, they do not come to understand emptiness and dependent arising correctly or completely. So the Prasangikas see their fellow Buddhist practitioners, of course, as Buddhists, as having faith in the Buddha Dharma and the Buddha Shakyamuni. But when they hear teachings on dependent arising and they reflect on the meaning of dependent arising, they come to see that, yes, results come about in dependence on causes. So phenomena come about in dependence on causes. Completely accept that. But because because phenomena come about in dependence on causes, those phenomena are not only dependently arisen, but they are also inherently existent. So this is where they make a mistake. So they accept dependent arising on a cause level, that a result comes about in dependence on a cause. But then they say, because something arises in dependence on something else, it therefore has its own intrinsic nature. It is self-existent. It is inherently existent. So here, when these immature beings, who are maybe intellectually immature, when they reflect on dependent arising, they're going through a process to a certain extent correctly, but come to a mistaken conclusion. And this then is so thereby, when they grasp at dependent arising or they reflect on dependent arising, due to being immature, they make a mistake in their reasoning, and they thereby strengthen the shackles of extreme views. Because this grasping at phenomena as being self-existent or inherently existent is an extreme view. And their misapplication or misunderstanding of dependent arising serves to strengthen this extreme view. So this is the reason why the Prasangika refer to all other view holders within Buddhism as being immature.
Tarzin Chingwa Tempa Chesidu, Tigniba, Dara, Chingwa Sidu, Tarzin did Na, say Rashi Juba Zimbadi, Tarzin Tarzin Tawasura. Digi got a Chingoras and Ranzo Koalia, Matar Tarmatua, the Digi Chiva, Ching Sidu. Just Rashi Juba Zimba Java, Digi Dela, then a new mobile, Desha Kondong, new dear. Then a new Wangi Lesa. Then the lady want to call Wally, then do about me by Yongui. Say you want to call ya pa damche, Tabalmas and Daji, Damjag and Surius, and Marajin to Zimbadi. Just a Chingwa, Kowal, Chingor, Chingji, this word. Then they get Chingji, Marajin to Zimbadi, Sanya Jimnan, they get Tendig and Namja Soya di, Marajin Juba Delia, Padi Melosoega Dondala, Tablam Latindig and Namja Soya. Jezam. Jiba Konjugi that Denigi Umaragi or Manchigi and the Konjugi and the Denigi Namchati, Tarzin Betawad, Gasa, Rashing Juba Zimba, Tarzin Tawad, Meva Suelia, Tapshasuna, the Konjugi, Samlo Digi, the Temper, Demisuore, Chesa, Beshe Tamatua, that's been the Dorje Palam Naj Bushu Digi, Beshe Tamatua, Dinashin, Denigi Namchati, Tarzin Betawad, Meva Suegi, Dondala, Sunguorte. The tablam de conjui, Bishet down to Guomares. Just on Tarzing it, Tawa de Pa, should share Dango as conjugate.
What does extreme views here refer to? So it refers to the ignorance of self-grasping. And this ignorance of self-grasping, this extreme view, is what keeps us bound within samsara. So there is a particular word that we have here, shackles. We'll know this in other contexts of being bound or being fettered. And this then usually refers to being bound within cyclic existence or bound to cyclic existence or the fetters of cyclic existence. So that the shackles we will often hear in that context, and the extreme views we will often hear it as to what it refers here, the ignorance of self-grasping. So these non-prasangika view holders, these Buddhists who hold the views of the other philosophical schools, either the Vaibhashika, the Sautrantika, the Chittamatrans, or the Svatrantikas, they accept that they, as ordinary deluded beings, are bound within cyclic existence. And what is it that shackles them to cyclic existence? That it is the ignorance of self-grasping. So they accept that, and they accept that from the ignorance of self-grasping followed are the afflictions. From these afflictions one accumulates karma, and this then ripens into our experiences that keep us bound in cyclic existence. So this is something that they understand. And they understand that to be able to be freed of the shackles that bind them to cyclic existence, in other words, be freed of the ignorance of self-grasping, they need to develop the contrary mind, the wisdom wisdom realizing emptiness, or the wisdom realizing selflessness. So agreement across this whole sequence. And then they also agree that a way to realize emptiness is through meditating on dependent arising, and they will reflect on that from a result come from causes. Dependency on causes. So they'll reflect like this. But the mistake then comes at this point, where they see that because something comes about independent on a cause, a result comes about independent on a cause, it therefore must be truly, inherently existent or self-existent. So that is the mistake that the non-prasangikas are making. So in the end, what they end up doing is strengthening the shackles of the extreme views, or strengthening their ignorance of self-grasping. So despite having a correct understanding of the general situation in samsara and the sequence that keeps one bound within the suffering experiences that are samsara, and having a correct understanding in general of how to eliminate this, because they are the immature, they make a mistake in their understanding of the presentation of dependent arising, and think that because phenomena are dependently arisen, they therefore are truly existent or inherently existent. And this is a mistake that keeps them bound, shackled within cyclic existence. So this then can lastly be likened to the young child who finds a diamond, doesn't know its value, doesn't know how to use it well, and just throws around, plays with it, brings them some happiness and joy, but doesn't achieve its potential. Similarly, with they not being able to recognize the full potential of the presentation of dependent arising, they cannot use this philosophy to its most powerful, its fullest extent.
Petendigi namjadu jebachin de ribigi lo nibachibo zay jebache ribet namje shu yedigen ane tenjuba digi na ane tendigi namjadu samdang du jebe jawa chide nga zuya da jawa se de ji zwengang ro sin ba gor de de jawa de den ba ben simje du ro jawa china gor sha ben de le chilo ba tan ro yo ma ro ba da nga zu ga wa na zu de ro se ne nga zu lo ko wa lo ko che kowi ne de matawa je ya jik zamda shi ya je ko ne de dunga de ne ge nyoya ge nyoya ji kowi ne le matawa de ba chesam kowi ne de le matawa de ga gi ka ba re la na jawa se de ji nga se rashin du ba chimbe chimba nga rashin du ba chimbe chimba di res chesa di nga zu le ko wa ne ge shaking cook, Travalmas on the Java Zores, Java Dires. Chazan Denigu doesn't marry the Yobas and Della Dene, the Charge, Contra, the Yomoja, D. Wangelesa, two Senado Coal Hortigores. Chazan D. Denigi da Coal Koi Yuzo, the Garson doesn't marry by the Denzi marry by the Reshas. Deni in Zan Tenjubo Digipat, Di Mabasuela Canis, don't you to be Tower, Comje, Mabasuas. Chazan, don't you to be Tower, going Mabasual, don't you the Canis race and how Goyalaya, don't you toya. Then San Jumnan the Yusunship, didn't take it Namsha to pass some dash. This some done, didn't take it on Namsha some dash, didn't take it Namsha some done, don't you talk chorus. Says, don't you to be shared to Gomche, didn't answer Koale, Koyu, Zayu, then the Mariba, Tassi Mariba, Bangu Mevasugo, Mevasugo. Says, I didn't Mevasudu, Tarbata Tamjiki Bokova, to 2 goddess. Jezan Deniginza. Keva Tenjuba Digi, Mikeva Digi Dorje Palam, the Beju Chimba, Natuba Nashi, and Dendigi Namsha, Namju Pulu Chimba, and the Keva Tenjuba Digi, San Yu Jumnan Digi, Sunship, Dendi Namja, San Yu Jumnan Digi, Ganachil Beju Tangores, Subana, Tata, Beju Tang 2 goddess. So that did it. Dandala.
And so I go some unity, Chig Kepa. De kolachik alakare kazeti intike ngatutik tak self-purpose sangi mare mi kierpa yena deni kon kiecho ni yore chik nangsho yapha kokire de gangla di chik bu ha koki mare dondak yang ha kokire di kiecho ni yor kenere
kierpa kewa se de tenjige namsha donda chasa de kewa se de tenjige namsha samma ta tenjige namsha jeba chine den tongyi namsha sam 동이 남자 삼탄에 되는마 덴지 방투구도 되는 시구도 좀 비기 차서 내서 하고 현재 텐주버에 될라 내 개발해야지.
So let's then look at the second half of the verse. The same for the wise is the very means to sever completely the net of fabrications. So the same then refers to dependence arising. So using the same presentation but that the immature have mistakenly applied, those who are mature, the prasangika view holders, they are able to use it in a very different way, to use the same teachings from the Buddha, but come to a very different understanding. So if we look here then at a few other things in the verse, so we have here the net of fabrications. So this we can think of as perhaps a net, but made out of not just a cord, but out of iron. Or we could think of it in terms of bars in a prison, because this refers to us as ordinary beings being caught within a net made of iron, or trapped within a prison. So the analogy is of an ordinary being trapped within the experiences that are cyclic existence. An ordinary being, a prison, bound within prison, by these iron bars or this net, and these are the afflicted minds and karma, but in particular, or primarily, the root of this entire construct that is cyclic existence, the ignorance of self-grasping. So that is what is referred to here, what is meant by the net of fabrications. So you can use an analogy of us ordinary beings caught within a net or bound within a prison. And that is what's being referred to here, the prison of cyclic existence. And being caught in this way, one has no means of escape. One is completely trapped within suffering experiences. And these suffering experiences come about due to the ripening of karmic causes that we have accumulated under the influence of our afflicted minds, with the primary or the root being the ignorance of self-grasping. So this analogy is understood and accepted by all Buddhists. Where the difference comes in is how they apply the antidote. So the prasangika, the second 2 lines here, refer to the wise. So the wise are the prasangika. So just to say something on this term wise, if you see the term wise or scholar, that's usually translated one or either way, it refers to someone who is highly educated in the Buddha Dharma, as well as not just knowing the words, but knowing the meaning. So someone who's learned and realized. So having these two qualities is generally what is meant by a scholar or someone who's wise. So here that such a person is someone of the Prasangika view holder. So they know that they need to cultivate the antidote to the ignorance of self-grasping, which is what constructs this entire prison that is samsara, this net of applications. And this wisdom realizing emptiness is developed through reflecting on Buddha Shakyamuni's presentation on dependent arising. Through reflecting on the presentation of dependent arising, one will realize emptiness and eliminate the primary cause of cyclic existence. So these practitioners, who are the wise practitioners, they, and only they, are able to follow Buddha Shakyamuni's instructions fully, completely, and exactly, and thereby come to realize the complete and the subtle understanding of dependent arising.
And that the nigi dige danda ho dudu ra sheshavana the jeremichi sungor the jeremichi karasungor labna sanye jumnen digi tenji namsha tenzin maribadi dohege table tenji namsha sunshavati and rangyuba da jerama dodeba semto rangyuba digi tenji namsha samta de kowa chinjigi dasin maribadi shukcher dang dember suishodus 제자 디 텐디게 남샤디기 다제 마리바 도하게 탑람디 콘주 베제 땅 투구면도스 아나 케바 우마바 텐규바디기이나 산여 쯤nen디게 송바나 다하라 텐디게 남샤 텔 때네 제바치네 동요도 베셔로 공발레 때네 다세 마리바디 땅 투구 메바스 투구도스 제자 네 제르미치기 텐디게 남샤 직부 텔 때네 고머니기 강사 코론이야 남주기 당화다 마당의 긴진으로 남주 야가 유나 비주 야가 당도 비 남주 직 비시면은 제가 비주 현다지라 야가 질 비주 당도 민도 송고라다.
A summary of Rinpoche's meaning in this verse then is that the ignorance of self-grasping that keeps us shackled, that keeps us bound within this net of fabrication, within the suffering experiences that are cyclic existence, and that the way to eliminate this is through eliminate this root cause of cyclic existence, the ignorance of self-grasping, is to develop the contrary mind, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And the way to do this is through reflecting on Buddha Shakyamuni's presentation on dependent arising. However, those who are intellectually immature, the non-prasangika view holders, they, through engaging in this meditation, study and meditation on the presentation of dependent arising, they end up strengthening their extreme views. They end up coming to a mistaken conclusion. However, those who are wise, the prasangikas, they are able to take that same presentation from Buddha Shakyamuni, and they are able to develop it and come to a realization of emptiness, eliminating the ignorance of self-grasping. So therefore, in dependence on the intelligence of the practitioner, either a greater result is achieved or a lesser result is achieved. And that is the meaning in brief of this verse.
Chö Rashi Madubare Lakan Tenjuba Jigmadeo Marda. Chö Tamje Rashi Madubare Lakanti Tenjuba Kona Chikri. That Chö Tamje Rashi Dubare Lakanti Manato Nambi Jumta Nala Yore, Jumta Mawanala Chiruba Yore. Chesana Jenza Ko Chö Tamje Rashi Dubare Lakanti, Nambi Jumta Mawada, Azuki Uma Benanda, Rajupada Semzamba, and Dodebe Cheramawa Shitiala, and the Chirugu to the Mawachazang, Churkandis Rashing Dubu or Elabore. Now Uma Tenjuba Churtam Chekandis Rashing Dubu or Marella. Chesa Chabra Dire, Chesa Dane Rashing Drupda, Marup said Rashing Dubige, Drupna Dumna, Ganes Dubure, Ganesilla Rashing Dubare, Labide, Ganesilla Rashing Madubare, Labires, and that she needed Secho or Wada.
What should be clear here now is that there is a great distinction between the view of the Prasangika and the view of the non-Prasangika. So the majority of Buddhists, as well as non-Buddhists, so the majority of Buddhists would be the lower tenets, those of the Vaibhashika, the Sautrantika, the Chittamatrans and Svachantikas, as well as non-Buddhists. They hold that all phenomena are inherently existent. Amongst all these groups, there's only one group, there's only one philosophy, that of the Prasangika, who say that all phenomena are not inherently existent. The Prasangika then are alone in saying that phenomena are not inherently existent. Other view holders say they are. So that then leads us to need to investigate what is meant by a phenomena being inherently existent or phenomena being empty of inherent existence.
Di tenjubi denisi na raji tubare la ko jera mawa da de ba chasange denisi la raji tubare la raji tubta ji bare jesa ko gane ne ko tauden pa je tauden je ne tame tamale ya o di re sha se nye yong du nye jue na di raji tubare la ko jesa uma raji ba da man chi ge chasange chue ga de tauden je na ko ro ji nye yo re so nye yo re de za raji tubare la ko uma tenjubi ge去干这些刀盾怕这呢，你也来买的是，你也来买的是，就是那呢，可多被打什么卡路，你也要买的是，那个地图啊，等你看你。
Die tamme de yanke gela?
多被打什么的，天主比个，可是去干这些刀盾这呢，你也要买的是，今年你也要买的是，就是你也没买的就了。啊，我们让就把满这个，呢，去干这些刀盾这呢，今年也要来了过来，就是你也要把这或者个让去主把来了过来。我们天主比个去，他们干这些刀盾这呢，这那个你东上去嘛，都你也要买的是，东上卡路过来，你也要买的是的，这让去买主把来了过来。就是你也没把这让去主把来，你也有把这让去，可是你也有把这让去主把来了过来。天主比个你也没把的是了，有的让去买主把来了过来。关键给他每天也得地来的，每天也得那样的。
Then what is meant by inherent existence? And understanding this is a critical point. So it comes down to this. Whatever phenomenon one investigates, if something is found ultimately, or something is found finally, that is inherent. That is what is meant by self-existence or inherent existence. So if you investigate a phenomenon or any phenomenon, if something is found, then that phenomenon is inherently existent, and that what is found when one investigates is what is said to be inherently existent or self-existent, or its self-essence. So this is so all Buddhist philosophical schools would agree on that. When one investigates, if something is ultimately found, something is found in the end, something is finally found, then that is true inherent existence or self-existence. So there, the philosophical schools agree. Where they disagree, and we have this divide between the Prasangika and the non-Prasangika, is the non-Prasangika, the Vibhashika, the Svatantika, the Chittamatrans, and the Svatantikas. They say, when we investigate, we find something. Therefore, phenomena are inherently existent. Prasangika say, strange, we investigate the same phenomenon, we find nothing. Therefore, they are empty of inherent existence. So this is a critical point. What is meant by inherent existence, and then who finds something and who doesn't.
Gansa said the Ganishil Lagudus Pa, Gansa, the Ganish Tapa, Jebaje, Gazam Dilada, Tame Tajula Jebaje, Odi Gansa Resha, Del Gansa Lagudu, Sembi, Tame Tajas, near Yubana, near Yubadilla, Gansa Rashi Tuba, Gasha Rashi Tuba. De Zimbi Tagarang, Res and Zimba Dilla, Gansa Rashi Tuba Zimbi Zimba Aswada, Tenjubi shared Gansa Rashi Tuba Zimba Res. Gansa Rashi Tuba Zimba. Chezan Di Lo Rocheres. Chezan Zugi Koaki Chingji di Direla, that is Tenjubi shared.
Then you can Gansa Kransinki Drupa Lord.
Zimbi Lodi, Gansa Pata, Jebachin, Gansam Julia, O di res and Bigada, Gansa di Resha, Sembichi Niejurwa, Nieche di Tahara Zimbadi, Gansa Rashi to be Zimbares. That di Gansa Rashi to be Zimbadi, Jeramawe, as a Dodi, as a Sem Umaranju, Gansa Rashi to be Zimbalagade, Tenjubi and Gansa Rashi to be Zimbala, Chibare. In a Tenjubi di Loshere, Loshere, Chesandi, Koreke, Yuzo di Dimabasu, Relavare. The Umaranju, Odilo Loshema, Dilo, Nesudire, Lodundire, Korongi, Ganye, Tonga, Shida, Yuder, Loshema, no Tumar, Chesan Delia. That the Tenjubi Delia, Tarzing at Awala, Chikichazan, Gansa Rashi, Maduba, Tadun Davis, Yen, Neva Chilia, Kuni, Yoba Zimba is a Tarzing Tower, D, and how to go, Kowaki, Yuzo Tires, Dipangu, or Dimeva Soko, or Desorda.
Then I rank you by Conso di Cola Calella Piome.
Najubi di Lo Dundures, the Moynis we call Yoban Zidu, Lo Dundures, and Chazadi, Lo Notre Marella word.
So this process then can and should be applied to all phenomena, but we'll take the person. The person is the phenomenon, so let's investigate to see if something is found. If something, when one investigates the person, if something in the final analysis is found, then the person would be said to be inherently existent because something is found. And then the mind that finds this person, this inherently existent person, is a mind that will grasp at the person as being inherently existent. So when one investigates and looks for the person and comes to find, if one does come to find something that you can say, yes, I've analyzed down in finer and finer detail, and now I find something that cannot be eliminated, this is the inherently existent person, then the mind that grasps at this, that believes in this, according to the Svatantika, or the Madhyamika Svatantika, their full name, they would say, this is a correct consciousness, this mind that grasps at the person as being inherently existent, and it is in accordance with reality, because the person exists inherently. Prasangika would say, if you investigate and you come to find an inherently existent person, the mind that grasps or believes in this person as existing inherently, that is a wrong consciousness. So there is a dividing line, or there is the dividing line. Practitioners will engage in the analysis, come to a finding. The Svatantika will accept that finding as being in accordance with reality. Prasangika will say, that's a wrong consciousness. It's not in accordance with reality. Moreover, that is grasping at an extreme view. And that's what we see referred to here in the second line, strengthening the shackles of extreme views. So if one were to investigate and come to find, at the final analysis, something that is the person, then that consciousness that finds this, according to Prasangika, is a wrong consciousness. According to Svatantika, that is in accordance with reality and not a wrong consciousness.
Rajuba Manjegi, Tendige Namja Samtaje, Tarzan Tawa de Shuksha, Canis Tugures, and the Tenjubigi, Tendige Namja Samtaje, Tarzan Tawa de Meva, Canis Tugures, as you do any legal.
So here, maybe a couple of questions have arisen for you. So if one is meditating using the process as has been described of using the understanding of dependent arising, as we've seen in the verse, the immature, their wrong views will end up strengthening due to this meditation. Those who are wise, the prasangikas, going through the same meditation, they will be able to eliminate the ignorance of self-grasping. So they hold the same view, they go through the same meditation process, but end up with quite different results. So you may then wonder to yourself, so how does this meditation process lead to the Svatantika, their wrong views, growing? And how does this process, and secondly, how does this process lead to the correct view, or the final view of the Prasangika, strengthening?
Temba chana, tender sometime, tending sometimes, and Tarzan Tower, Temba Chagus, then the Ganis Chagus, Majuge Chagore Landa, the part in this Chagore, she share do, and Tambo, Garisam Tangore, Umaranjuke, some Dana Shebena, Conjugi, Da said, Nga said yours, that did ten you Jiba, Nga said yours. Jazanda said the Javachi order, Tenti Tony. Danganjuki did Rapa the young Hago, Savant Matabsha and Dele Nuki and Dele Nuki about it, and the children Lulu and Dele Dene, Nuki about Nugudiva, Shukshe, and the Archuno, the Dele Tebuki about the Dirimba the Hago. That the net and Savant Delia, Nuki, Nuba, can do and then touching tower the young Anzuki, she had like a heart chagua. Or the Niki Chevachi, Shivada, Chevachi, the Umar and Yubuki, and the Chevachi, and says yours. I can't do see them. Then Nadi Nanzuki Nanzu Majivi Chilo to do it, Nanzu attend to us. That Chilo Yavana, Pazo Marona Chilo, Nadu says Yungureda, and the young am that Chilo Mindus. Chesananzu, Ludi and Jane to us. Now we'll do something. Ludi and Jane Yavana, Marangu, Subutiki, Nara Rebes, Labna, Chesan, Dimar Remedu, Rasane. Dingy Lapa, Ni Gangba, said Dingy Lapa to Dushe Cheshabene, Lapa Meva Charles in Gandus. Chesangadu, Chesadi, Yanti Gangba to Chebene, Gangba Nadu, Chesa, he Lubut Subutiki and Remedu, Chesa, Dele Loso Nachi, and Korong Jeba Dus Tamatambo, Jeba Korimroji in illegal.
In terms of dependency, especially dependency on causes and conditions, this is something that all of us, and really everyone, has an understanding on a course level. So we know that a sprout is a result that comes from a cause, and that for that cause to become a result, it requires several conditions around it, such as soil and heat, etc. And if everything's accumulated correctly, a result will follow from a cause. So this kind of dependency, everyone understands, that from a cause comes a result, and then in the reverse direction, from a result came from a cause. So everyone understands this. Certainly the philosophers of the Svatantika philosophical school, they easily understand this. But for everyone it gets, when we need to investigate in more detail, that's where it gets more complicated. Even for us, if we used to ask just beyond the basic knowledge of gardeners and agriculturalists, then there is finer detail to be known, but this isn't widely known. So likewise, with, when we investigate the self, on a coarse level it can be understood, but one needs to investigate at some subtlety for it to have an impact that will have, we need to investigate on a subtle level for it to have an impact that results in a change in our way of thinking and behaving. So the Svajan seeker will start in the normal way. They'll think, okay, how does the self appear? Where is the self? I'm going to investigate and seek out the self. So the self can be in one of two places, over there or over here. If it's over there, when I go around, I should see the self here and there and everywhere, in all these different places that are over there. That, of course, is not the case. So between there and here, the self must be here. In other words, it must have a relationship with our aggregates, our physical and mental aggregates. So we start then with the physical aggregate. So is the self the body? And we look at the various body parts. For example, if we were to have a limb amputated or an organ removed, we would still have a sense of self. Our sense of self would not be in our amputated limb or organ. Our sense of self, therefore, is not an individual body part.
지상 수나래니 메나 다 가와 요거선 삼로 나로 봐 제고래 지난에 삼로 나로야 나로 셰비 나로라 가도 랍니다 나로래 셰바 나로야 아니 지 미기 왕시 다마라 자고 하미 잘라 통한 로뇽의 셰바 다마 왕시 망부주요래 지상 디줄 나리베스네 디야 나 말레스 가르스네 아니 그에 내가 나 요래 이나 디체서 왕시 상 가서 요 말레스 지상 왕시 세상 가서 베네 나도 나니 되어레스 지상 나니 후되어래라고 나도 지상 왕시 되게 나리미도스 다디 지상 왕시 되게 나리랍나 나니 후가 왕시 세상 가서 나요 말이라고 그랬어 지상 나요래 니 되어래라고 저 왕시 되게 나리미도스 다 왕시 되게 마이나 나로 이기 셰바 나려야 나 가르스투스 파지랑 거라다 파 수수리로와 다 이기 셰바 나라 가도 지다데 이기 셰바 나라 잠제 콩라사야 잠제 되샤기야 잠제 거우차 되는 용거와 초와 대화리야다 되네 되는리어도 안에 다 초와 대화되게 나래벨람네 초와 대화되게 나래람네 잠잠아 콩나 마기고 슈 차도 초와 대화되요 말에 이내 나요라 나 강아저 나 동아시우 용구라고 저자데 나요라 이내 초와 대화되 가사래요 말에서 나 초와 동아다 강한 되니게 되 나래벨라네 디야 말에 가서 나기고 슈 초와 대화 슈 예드까블라 소와 둥아 강아데 요 말이스 미나 나요레스 진짜 둥아데 가서 미나 나요레스 진짜 다 소와 둥아다 대화시되기 나레미도스 진짜 딜레 로스시도 세마 아디 림바르마선 just 마 차차 다지도 젠주고려
The meditation, as thus far explained, is easy to understand. We all understand this quite simply. So the point we got to was to see that the sense of self cannot be found within our body. So we've already eliminated it being our sense of self being somewhere over there, unrelated to our body and mind, our aggregates. And so looking here, we've seen that it's not to be found within our physical body. So then that only leaves our mind. So we need to investigate our mind. So the mind then can be investigated, or can be rather divided in many different ways. So first one would look at the various sense consciousnesses we have. So the consciousness that is associated with our various senses. Our consciousness associated with our eye sense, our hearing, our taste, our touch, and our smell. So those 5. But our sense of self cannot be found within any of those or all of those, because let's take a time when we are asleep. So when we are asleep, our sense consciousnesses are all dormant, but there's still a sense of self. So our sense of self cannot be within any individual or the collection of the sense consciousnesses. So that leaves then one other consciousness, and that is the mental consciousness. So our thinking mind. So this then can be divided again into many different subclasses of mind found within the mental consciousness. So these could include anger, can include desire, can include joy, etc. So, but if we then look at each of these individual minds, then is our sense of self to be found within any of them? Is it found in our mind of anger that sometimes arises? Well, merely saying that this mind of anger sometimes arises, our sense of I cannot be with this mind of anger, found within the mind of anger, because it's only sometimes there, but our sense of I always is here. Likewise with a feeling of happiness. If we're happy and we're joyful, that's great. Sense of I is present. But when that mind is not manifest, when maybe a suffering feeling or a neutral feeling is manifest, there's still a sense of I. So again, we don't find our sense of I or ourself within any individual mind. Then this process is, especially looking within the mind, we need to go to subtler levels.
Tanga nadu kable yi sheba de yores roada nga jibu yudi kable yi sheba yores igi number sheba de yores dunga nyo de kable igi number sheba yore ni kuwe ne kauso igi number sheba yore jisa gedi na igi number sheba de nga ni kuwa da ane jige ni sewi kable du ni kuwe ne kable du nga dunga nyo ye kable du jisa ga jibu yo kable igi number sheba du jisa du shin gewanga ma le du chima le du ro ko ro han de she jisa 다들 얘기는 뭐지다 타르투는 하 세디 파두 그제 이게 넘버시 받으려 샤스다 이게 넘버시 받이 저기 신나 코스 데비링라 그디나 이게 넘버시 받이 여디겠지 되네 되는마 아니 개왕 아마래 이게 넘버시 받이 되는마 진짜 다들 이게 넘버 되는마 치마 저한테 이게 넘버시 받 수부디게 죽음에도 가서 수부디 마시선에 매다 당가서 매와서도 직 매와서 주고 이게 넘버시 받 차로 진짜 되네 진짜 나세 다사게 답이 시디다 또 제여디 이게 넘버시들 레샤 다 이게 넘버시 받이 코 뭐네 그런 뭐네 죽되게 지레샤다 이게 넘버시 레샤 진짜 이게 넘버시 받을 안주게 나센 따고 그래서 진짜 되네 인자 콜도 제바지는 파 타마니에 딜레 이게 넘버시 받 이행거다 요 그디나 여디hen 되네게 교어들에 메디가 코라 이게 넘버시 레샤서다 진짜 되네 인자 이게 넘버시 받이 다 라신이 두바래 섬고 코라 진짜 대신 된제게 섬다다도 제바지 코 타마들 이게 넘버시 레샤 통어도 다딩아 세야디 델밍따기도 진짜 나서야디 라시 두바 땡땡 두 섬비게 땡땡 남자 섬다비 라시 두바 템포 차다데 되네 차서래
이 타마 템포 차상
템포
템포 차상
진짜 라시 땡땡 남자 섬다시 라시 두바 세야디 예비 짐바디 템버 쇠로 와다 그래서 라시 디 레샤 섬고 직녀 바로 와다 녀도 디 레샤 섬도 디 라시 두바 짐베 섬로디 그 템버 단 거로 와다 이번 하스네 체르된 거로 와
Samuel ko sang tenikana netang de igi nampa shepa dang semgi gyu chikpareve semgi gyu
sem기규세네
because the
균식르베
균
다 지난 직바 연구를 때다 갑데다 이기 남아 셔봤다 그냥 이거로 하다
오케이 좋죠. When going through this, so going through these steps as we've now gone through, looking for the self, is it there, is it here? If it's here, it can only be body or mind. We looked at the body, we've gone through various individual minds, the sense consciousnesses and the mental consciousness, and then we've looked at the individual minds within the mental consciousnesses. And that was the point we got up to, saying we need to go to subtler levels there. So when meditators get to this point, what they usually come to, as they're nearing the end of this analysis, is they reflect on the mental consciousness that continues from life to life. Because when they'll reflect, they'll say, when I'm asleep, there's still a sense of self, so therefore I know it's none of my sense consciousnesses, but there is a mental consciousness present. I'm awake now, whether I'm meditating or walking around, there's a mental consciousness present. If I'm happy, if I'm miserable, mental consciousness present. And this mental consciousness, or this continuum, this is present now, it was present previously, and in lives previous to this, and in lives subsequent to this. My body that I have now, I certainly didn't have in my previous life. It's changed in this very life and is not going to travel with me to my next life. But this mental consciousness, this will. So at this point, in the investigation, looking for the self, something is found. This mental consciousness that migrates, or this continuum, this mental consciousness that migrates from life to life, this is found. And this mental consciousness is what I is imputed, or self is imputed onto. And this is inherently existent, because under its final analysis, something is found. And as we heard right at the beginning, what all Buddhists agree to, what is inherent existence, something in the final analysis, or something ultimately is found, that must be inherently existent. And now this is found. So therefore, the inherently existent self is found. And here there's great certainty and stability in terms of I have found, or enough stability, firmness. There's a firmness in this understanding that this inherently existent self, or a self that is inherently existent, has been found.
That is it. That you begin some Rashi Maduba said that how go to Buddhist. Then you begin some Rashi Maduba di how go to Buddhist. The Ganes to Buddhist, the Cheva Cherani, Chiba, that Raju be Cheva Chitanashi, Jenna, when the Tenju begin Cheva Chidu, Na said Rashi Jubas, Lolia, Ganes Nangudu, answer Lolia, Ganes Nangudu, some Nangu, Gala, Madu Koron, when you drooped the Nangore. Didn't now an Ashin, and I go to Sensei Tadu, the Juranjuba Naji Cheva Chibare, Sukui Chida Nang Samta, then the Subudi Yele Samta, Subudi and Arim, Dila Losochi, Nashitus, Anima and Subudi and Arimedo. Then Dinaloya, Submen, the same knowledge, and same Naji, Dejinajin Soa, Dumata, Dewata, then there's some done it is Narimedo. Sinadu said some Tamayi number Sheva de Chivarda, Yi number Shevadi, Nazo in Dewata, Dumata, Jawangama, and Chima Chazan, you be Yi number Shevadeshas. So Yi number Shevadi, da Ko and Korong Rangun to Gala, Motiva Rangun to Rebelana, it was Yi number Shevadella. Call Kitching Ama, the Chima Pachachivana, Kitching Ama, the Yi number Shella, Kitching Ama, Yore Chima, Yore, and Data was said, Deva, Data Mombas, Kitching Achimur. Just like Kitching Ama, the Arabelane, Marek, Tatinga Kitching Ibicablanadu, the Kitching Ama, the Casa, your medicine. And the Kitching Iba, the Arabelane, Kitching Iba, the Amare, Person Kitching Amica, so Kitching Iba, the Homer in the Nadus. Just do same Corolla, do Tami Yi number Shebaleo, Yi number Shebadel, Kitching Ama, and Chimagi, Yawa Chabachedu, Kitching Achikarko. Kitching Amat Papi, Su Chimapi, do Chidi, Na said, Yi number Shebet in the Yama. Just a Gala, Nia medicate, Rang when you drooped you, Gala manual, didn't do Chibaja, Donsan Jimadanioma, Donsan Charu. Just a Donsan Chito, or that Donsan do some other Donsan Jimadu Mindu, some big sometimes don't say Dijavachin, Tami, Donsan, how go you do? Don't said how go do it. Just a don't you do share that way. Just a D. Tenju begin, Tenjin Namja, some Tang, 근데 동방이 또 두고 해서 디래다 또 두다래
참고 성 중중직 디 중중 양교성상 디 이기 남퍼 셰퍼데 차시여레 계직 담포 말에 아토 말에 계직 니파 아토 말에 계직 니파 아토 말에 가리전에 에디
계직 니파데 가 있나 계직 니파데 가 있나 계직 당배 값수 계직 니파데 요 말아 신 두기로 제가 나 요르데 계직 니파데 요 말에 제가 계직 니파데 가래면도 계직 당보데 가 있나 계직 니비 값수 계직 당보데 가서 요 말이나 나요래 제가 계직 당보데 가래면 계직 니파데 가래 또 제 계직 아직 강도 제베네 나세 니에메베 다신 제베지나 가야 많이 봐라 동상하지 마도 요 말 통고 말해 제
So the meditation has just been described as the meditation that a view holder of the Svatantika philosophy would go through and come to the conclusion that's in accordance with their philosophy. The Prasangika then, the highest school, they go through the same meditation and come to a different result. Because we've heard that the dividing line between the Prasangika and the non-Prasangika is not as to the meaning of inherent existence, but whether anything exists inherently. That's where they disagree. So I'll briefly then mention the meditation points that the Prasangika go through, just so as a recap for yourselves. They're exactly the same points as before. And then at the end, I'll present it in a little bit more detail, because that's then where they come to their differing conclusion. So first of all, they think they're going to investigate a phenomenon, so they're going to investigate the self. How does the self appear to the mind? And then when they have a feeling for the sense of self, how it appears to them, they then are going to investigate to see whether it exists in the way that it appears. So that wasn't said earlier, but that is included for the Svatantika as well. So they investigate to see whether the self exists in the way that it appears. And then they say the self is going to be in one of two places, over there or over here. It's not over there, so it must be here with the physical and mental aggregates. So we look in the body, it's not in the body as we mentioned earlier, so it must be in the mental aggregates. And the mental aggregates can be divided in different ways. So the consciousnesses that relate to the senses, the eye consciousness, the ear consciousness, etc. It's not in those, because when we're in sleep, there's a sense of I. When we are asleep, there's a sense of I, but these consciousnesses are all dormant, but the sense of I is not. So what about the mental consciousnesses? Mental consciousness. So that is then investigated, first looking at the individual minds. It's not angry, it's not desire, it's not love, because these minds aren't always present, but the sense of I is. And then one comes to, so is it the mental continuum? The mental continuum, or the mental consciousness that goes, the very subtle mental consciousness. So the mental consciousness has many degrees of subtleties. The one that goes from life to life is a very subtle level of mental consciousness. So this then, is this the sense of I? So up to this point, the Prasangika's meditation has been the same as the Svatantika's. So there now, the Prasangika is meditating on the subtle mental consciousness that goes from life to life. And they say, hang on, this is not inherently existent because it has parts, it has moments, it has a previous moment and a subsequent moment. It has a first moment, you could say, followed by, in the next moment, a second moment, and in the next moment, a third moment. So is the self then anywhere to be found within this subtle mental consciousness, within any of these moments of it? Well, if you say there was the previous moment and the present moment, the self couldn't be in this present moment because the present moment didn't exist previous to it, and it won't exist future to it. So it can't be there. Moreover, the present moment can be further subdivided and subdivided. So the view holder of the Prasangika tenet, when they're engaging in the same meditation, when they get to the point of looking at the subtlest mental consciousness, they say, hang on, this cannot be inherently existent, because it has parts, it has moments of consciousness. One moment followed by another, followed by another, followed by another, followed by another, and nowhere in there can a self be found. And if, in the final analysis, something is not found, it cannot be inherently existent. So therefore, this phenomena, the self, is empty of inherent existence. And at this point, the yogini comes to the realization of emptiness. Because all that is left is emptiness, empty of inherent existence. And they then develop a wisdom realizing emptiness. So that there is the additional degrees of subtlety that the view holder, the prasangika tenant, go to. The prasangika then, in their meditation, they come to the same point as the Svatantika, where they're coming to the subtle mental consciousness, one that transmigrates from life to life. They've come to see that this can be infinitely subdivided into various parts or various moments of consciousness, and therefore it doesn't exist inherently. The self doesn't exist inherently. And they come then to experience emptiness, develop a wisdom understanding emptiness. Then the meditation goes on to the next step. Then they think to themselves, does that self then not exist? Because I've looked and I haven't found it. So does the phenomenon that is being investigated, because this can be applied to any phenomenon, in this case the self, does this not exist? Is the self non-existent? And that can't be the case, because when one isn't investigating, there is a sense of self. But now that one has investigated, no self is to be found. But then they will see that by mind imputing self onto the subtle mental consciousness, there is a self that can be spoken of. There's not a self that is ultimately existent, because that would be an inherently existent self. Or to put it another way, there is not a self that can be found under analysis. Under analysis, nothing is found. But when one isn't analyzing, the mind imputes self onto the subtle mental consciousness. In that way, we can talk about a self. So it's not that when one investigates and doesn't find a self, only emptiness, there's only emptiness, that therefore the self is completely non-existent. What doesn't exist is an inherently existent self. But mind imputing self onto the subtle mental consciousness, that then is how we can talk of the self.
Digi labja digi cherum che ngangzulya tsig digi ngangzul labja dene re se chi sung che ngangzul labja kari nangor labna ngangzul su labja laksha le di ngangzul gi diring gi lobsen digi ngangzul da sam ta de kare labna chesa ngangzul ya dunga gugo marwas chesa digi gugo wares chesa dunga mo wanza dunga yo gyudi kare labna da denzin marik pasya di res Rashi to put Simba, Rashi to put Simba. Says, Di Meba Sevala, Tony said, Toku, did Tony to below the combine, Di Meba Sutures. Says, Di Meba Sunanga to Koalaki, Yoma, Dunga, Yoma, Gitina Devan Deva Yungures. Says, Di Tony Toya, and to get Sanji Jumden Diki. Di tablamia sometime tending in Namsha Sonjabadi, tended the Liang to Shimjukiane, Yando, some dados and tending in Namsha Tikiba. Do some time do, then they got tending in Namsha, some don't do, doesn't marry body, no true by the Hago Tubures. Just a no true about Hago to Kolia, Komeva Suadi, Bang to Yag, Nubai, Bungy, your body, as a Hago, then the Tobio Delia, Betty. Shuchimbuchi, Donia Shuchimbuchi, says I didn't tending in Namja de la Samdang, that Denigi Lapcher,
Betten Badu Gossam.
Bezun tending in Namsha, some Dadu Bezuna, don't you to be shut up the house, the Bezun you combine, doesn't marry but bound to yes, she's not deep on you, and you call let a Numo on your call Kimo or check it, just I didn't the one the hard to turn it in this year, said all those in a Sungor, just I didn't Zanganzuki. That they need to Namshalia, that the Sheba Najan, some data, Society and said, Chion Yorda, Nalia, Dewa, Dunga, some Dewa, the Canis League, Dunga, the Canis League, Sidda, do some Dana, Toy, Tone, legal, I said, the Toa, the Canis League, Gawadu, Nasiad, Nala Dewa, Nadi Gawadu, and the Shishan to Chevacheta, Tenjuba, the Rangi, Chevachitana, Jenna, to Chevachet, do some dider. Then some diet here, and you get Tony said, Sanjo Govan Tobala, Tony said, Dogu, me, Simja Tamjelia, Pember to Gudu, Pember to Vela, and Sanjo Govan, Togu, Samje, and Soso Kibuya, Soso Jahuchai, get some daje, remember chair, Chisangan Kunotilia, and the Simjanta, Jella Digi to go, Simja Duma Seud. Just the Duma say, Yang, Sanjo Govan, Matum, the Jigimidu, Sambigi, Jaju Sem Sam Dangurwa. The nigger sometimes that's I go on Tobala. Now the Duma, something outside, Duma, you told it. They tended to Banasun, Sumbana doesn't marry by the Sungu Chesa, tell ya, tending deep on water, Chesa, deep on Tony to water, deep on Tony Toba like a chepache, tending in Namja, Chichile, Tenu, did think to tending in Namja, some Tangu, on ding, Yamnji, some Dutch and together, Kanatu Chiduki, Teniki. To call Rapa to Pacha, some died in Gechmachagua. That didn't look Saint Roger in this year.
How then should we relate to this advice that Geshe Lama Tsongkhapa has given to us in this verse? Well, all of us sitting here want to experience only happiness. None of us want to experience problems or difficulties at all. So suffering, as we've heard tonight and many times in the past, comes from as a root cause of the ignorance of self-grasping, or the root cause that suffering comes from is the ignorance of self-grasping. If this is eliminated, no more suffering. And the way to eliminate this ignorance is through developing the contrary mind, the wisdom realizing emptiness. And when this wisdom realizing emptiness has been developed, then suffering is eliminated and we are liberated from all suffering states. In other words, we are liberated from samsara and we attain a state that is of lasting happiness, of uninterrupted happiness. So the way to achieve such a state is to reflect on reality, and Buddha Shakyamuni taught the presentation on dependent arising. And if we think about this repeatedly, we will come to see just how mistaken our ignorance of self-grasping is, how it is contrary to reality. And as we're coming to see this, how mistaken our mind of ignorance is, then we will also be developing our wisdom, the technique or the method for abandoning this mistaken way of thinking. And the more that we see how it is this one mind, this ignorance of self-grasping, that leads to all our suffering, and how this, and as our reflection on reality, reflection on dependent arising strengthens, we'll want to make more and more effort because we're seeing the impact it has on our own mental peace, on our way of dealing with life's difficulties, our way of interacting with others. And this then leads us to wanting to make ever greater effort into our meditation and into our spiritual practice. And when that wish arises in a powerful and a sustained manner, then we will be able to progress rapidly to realize emptiness and attain liberation. But this only comes about through going through the necessary beginning steps and starting to think about these unwanted experiences that I have, all forms of suffering and unhappiness that I experience. Where do these come from? What causes bring about this result? And my desired state of happiness or mental peace, how do these come about? What are their causes? So we're thinking here about dependency or relativity. Then the self. How does it appear to me? The sense of self. How does this appear to my mind? Does it exist in this way or not? And here we've heard tonight this presentation on how to look for the self in more detail. Usually we often hear it in a more abbreviated way, but we've heard the steps put down one after the other in a clear way tonight. So if you make effort in these meditations, there will slowly be a change in your way of thinking. But what I would then also recommend, and it's not explicitly stated here though, is that before embarking on this reflection process, take a moment to remind yourself that you're engaging in this a period of reflection or meditation in order to understand reality, to achieve happiness, to be freed of suffering. And that wish for happiness is something shared with others. So therefore, as we have this possess this knowledge, which is still very rare and of course incredibly precious, we have a responsibility to come to develop it within us, to realize it within ourselves, in order to be able to use it in a way that's beneficial to others. And that means to develop ourselves to the fullest extent, where we become Buddhas, most skilled of guides, a guide that can help others to develop these same realizations within themselves. So this motivation then will serve to spur us on, to make the required effort to hear these teachings, to reflect on their meaning repeatedly. And if we do this, engage in these meditations repeatedly over a sustained period, our level of understanding will progress from something very coarse to something a little subtler. And we'll be quite excited by what we're now coming to understand. And then with this excitement, we'll have more energy, we'll make more effort, we'll have more joy. And we'll progress to subtler and subtler understandings. And as this degree of subtlety grows, the problems we experience will lessen, our own joy will increase, and the beneficial impact we have in the world will also grow. So thank you very much. We'll end here tonight, and then we'll continue tomorrow morning. Thank you.